Hello, I have no idea if I'm in focus because my camera is so far away, so I'm sorry if the view is crap and the focus is crap and the quality is crap. I'm very sorry. So this is quite exciting for me because usually when I film BookTube I sit on the floor, and so the camera's down there and you only see like the bottom half of my bookshelf. But here they are in all their glory, my three beautiful babies. She's beautiful. Just doing a little Will Smith moment, so yeah. She deserves it. So I'm quite a nostalgic person. Anyone who knows me knows that I'm always rewatching the same films, rewatching the same TV shows. I've seen Friends on a loop probably like over 20 times. Same with Parks and Recreation, same with Gossip Girl. I had like a yearly rewatch of that. I just like to return to the things that brought me comfort when I was like a young kid or a young teen, and they bring me a lot of comfort and nostalgia. So I thought it would be quite fun, for me anyway, I don't know if this video is of interest to anyone else, but it would be quite fun for me to do a little tour through my childhood bookshelf. So this little bookshelf has been with me ever since I was like 5, like really young. And all the books that are on it are pretty much what I read when I was that age, like from about, I don't know, 5 to 12 maybe. So I thought it would be nice to just do a little trip down memory lane, especially because some of these books are like double layered. I don't know what the term is, but basically there's like 2 rows of books on each shelf, so there's like a row that I don't see, so I don't know half the stuff that's in here. So I don't know, it'd be quite fun for me just to go through and have a little reminisce, and I thought I might take you with me just because, and I'm sorry if it's boring. So on this first shelf we have Queen, Jacqueline Wilson, my classic Queen. I remember it was so exciting, whether it was Christmas or birthday, opening up a new Jacqueline Wilson hardback. It was a very special moment. I remember really loving this Hetty Feather series. These 3 books are in the same series and they're set kind of in Victorian times. And I think this was the first time that Jacqueline Wilson, at least in my memory, had done like a kind of piece that was like not set in modern day, so I really remember enjoying these. And also My Sister Jodie, the ending to that just floored me, and I remember really loving the setting. It's like these 2 sisters, they go to this kind of old-fashioned kind of creepy school. I can't remember exactly what the setup is, but the ending just really traumatized me when I was a kid, but I remember really loving it. I absolutely love this shelf. I'm so shallow, I just love hardbacks. It's just so satisfying to me just having them all here, and they're all shiny and they're gorgeous and beautiful. I'm just going to talk behind the camera for this one because I don't think I can fit my head in the frame. But behind the big Jacqueline Wilson hardbacks are yet many more Jacqueline Wilsons, and I'll put in a close-up here. But I was just very into her books as a kid, obviously. They're also familiar and comforting, even though they're about quite kind of distressing situations sometimes. But I remember just always being able to fly through her books, like read them so quickly. They were so readable, so accessible, and her characters were always so vibrant and interesting. So then, as well as my Jacqueline Wilson collection on this shelf, we've got Varjack Paw, which is a series about an outlaw cat, which is strange because I was always a dog person, so I'm not quite sure how this found its way into my hands as a child. And then this Crowfield Curse duology, which I think I got at like those scholastic book fairs. I don't remember seeing these literally anywhere else, so I'm not sure if anyone else has heard of these. And then The Ghost of Thomas Kemp by Penelope Lively, Diary of Anne Frank. I'm not quite sure why this was given to me when I was a child, but anyway, it's here. And then The Toymaker by Jeremy De Quint, which, full disclosure, I never read. It was just something that I accumulated. And then Love Aubrey, which I think is a book, again, I got at a fair or something, which is about a girl who's, I believe her mother or her caregiver dies, and she's kind of having to fend for herself in the house. So that was quite interesting when I was a young kid. And then obviously Inkheart, but it's the movie cover. I remember seeing that movie and I don't remember if it was good or not, but I remember really enjoying this world, and I think I saw the film first and that made me want to get the book. But full disclosure, I remember absolutely nothing of this series now, and I might actually go back to it at some point because I remember really liking the ideas. And then at the very top we have Clarice Bean, who is such an icon. Like, I loved Clarice Bean when I was a kid. She was so fun and so cheeky, and these books are just so much fun. I love them. And the picture books as well. There's like accompanying picture books that go along with these, and then obviously a little copy of Little Women, which I have another edition of, but this is something else I guess I accumulated along the way as well. Again, I'm sorry I can't fit into the frame, so you're just gonna have to do with my voice. Actually, this is kind of better because I don't have my like you know, unkempt hair and whatever in it, so that'll be nice. So over here we have the iconic 10-book Princess Diaries series, but I didn't actually read this as a child. I read this last year, but Princess Diaries was always on my radar as a kid. I loved the films. I would watch them literally every day. So this just felt like it should go here. I actually got gifted books 5 and 6 when I was a kid, and I held off reading them because I wanted to read the whole series, and I never got around to getting the box set until last year, and I binged them, and they're iconic and I love them, and so I felt that they belonged here on my childhood bookshelf. And they replaced Harry Potter, which I haven't thrown out, I've just moved it to a different shelf. So Harry Potter used to be here as my like kind of childhood classic, but that's moved now to a different shelf, and then these have taken their place. And then we have Holes by Louis Sacco, which is a very famous book, and then we have books 2, 3, 5, 6 and 7 in the Narnia books. I actually got given book 2 when I was very young. That's The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. And I remember reading that, and I loved the films as well when I was little. And then I found books 3, 5, 6 and 7 in the same editions in a charity shop, and I just scooped them up very quickly because I hadn't ever seen them before, and I didn't know if I'd ever see them again, so I just thought I would do that. But obviously there are holes in the collection. I need book 1 and 4 and 8, if there's an 8, I'm not quite sure, I don't know how many there are. And then we've got Little Prince, again classic, and Warhorse, again another classic, and then Wanted, the 100-mile-an-hour dog. Oh, there's the dog book. I was wondering why I had cat books and not dog books. And then there's this Harry Potter quiz book, which I used to take into school and like try and like challenge my friends, which is the lamest thing ever. And then there's a Roald Dahl quiz book, and then just like an info book on Charles Darwin. Books 2 and 3 in the Secret 7 books for some reason. I don't know why I didn't get book 1. And then a copy of Roald Dahl's James and the Giant Peach. This is quite a beat up copy. I think I've got either a different one or that's just the only one I have, I'm not sure. And then this series at the end is The Red Necklace and then The Silver Blade by Sally Gardner, and it annoys me that the first book is in paperback and the second one is in hardback. Oh my god, this is so exciting to me! I haven't seen these books in so long. They've just been behind the first row for so long. I just honestly forgot about half of these. So we'll start at this end, and up here we have some Horrid Henry books. I was very into Horrid Henry as a child, more so the audiobooks. I had this big box set of the audiobooks and I used to listen to them to help me get to sleep. So I didn't actually own many of the physical copies, but these are 4 that I do own. And then over here, some horrible history books, again iconic, and then some Judy Donaldson books, Princess Mirabelle, and then Mermaid Magic by Gwyneth Rees. The Best of Pippi Longstocking. I think that was gifted to me one year and I'm not sure if I read it. I'm sorry. And then this is the Rose trilogy. I was so obsessed with these. I think I read these when I was like a little bit too old. Like, I think they're aimed at kind of like, I don't know, 6, 7, 8-year-olds, and I read them when I was like 10, 11. But I think my school library had the first one, and I just ended up buying it for myself. And the third one is set in Venice, if I remember correctly, and I love Venice, one of my favourite places in the entire world. So that was like amazing to me. And then these 3 books, again iconic. I think I got these at a book fair as well, by Sophia Bennett, and it's the Threads series, and it's about these friends, and I think one of them is very into fashion, which is why it's called Threads, and then another one wants to be an actress, another one wants to be a singer. I'm not sure. Basically they're all kind of pursuing these kind of classic kind of careers. I really wanted to be a fashion designer when I was a kid, so these books were like the holy grail for me. I thought this was going to be my life, that I'd start making clothes and I'd get famous when I was a teenager, and it'd be like really cool. I'd meet really hot boys who loved all my designs, which obviously did not happen, so let's move on before I cry. And then Candy Pop. I don't remember much about this book apart from the fact it's to do with music, and it's written by Lauren Laverne, who's quite a famous music critic. Shut up, bird. Wow, interrupting me. And then Life on the Refrigerator Door by Alice Cupiers. I remember this was everywhere in my school library. People were hyping it up so much. And it's basically a book told in kind of post-it notes between a mother and a daughter. And the mother, I believe, is dying of cancer, and it's about how they communicate through these notes left on the fridge, and that's kind of all the stuff that they can't say to each other in person. And then this is The Love Curse of the Rumbugs, which is a book that I tried to read like 5 times when I was younger. I just don't know why I couldn't get into it. I might return to it now, I'm not sure. I feel kind of bad like having books on my shelf that I haven't read. And then the Book of Nanny McPhee, which I believe is like the movie cover, so I must have got it because I liked the film. And then Lion Boy, I remember really loving this book like so much. And in high school they took us to see like a theatre production of this, and it was so much fun. It's such a fun story. And then The Fire Within by Chris DeLacy, again, all I remember is this is like there's someone who makes like dragon miniatures and then they like find a real dragon or something, but yeah, I remember like enjoying it at the time. And then the iconic Anthony Horowitz books, The Falcon's Malteser, Public Enemy No. 2, South by Southeast, and Three of Diamonds. I believe the first one was read to us in year 6, and I remember just falling in love with this detective series. It's so much fun, and it takes a lot from, kind of riffs on like a lot of Agatha Christie stuff. There is a book, I can't remember exactly which one, that takes the premise of And Then There Were None, so there's kind of a deserted island and people get invited and then people start disappearing, but it was so much fun to read. I remember loving these so much. So now we're down to the 3rd shelf, getting a bit dusty here, I'm very sorry, I need to tidy my shelves. Oh, and here we have the beautiful Septimus Heap series, and what is so annoying to me is one, that it's a mixture. This is just the 6th book in hardback randomly, and there's also a 7th book which I don't own, so the series is actually incomplete and I need to fix that. I might just get a whole new box set or something because I adored this series so much when I was a kid, like so much. And it follows this kid Septimus who is kind of, I remember him being quite hopeless and he's just drawn into this world of magic and necromancy. And I remember there being this huge library called, I don't know if it's called the Magisterium or if I'm just thinking of His Dark Materials, but it's called something beginning with an M, maybe the Ministerium or something. This big place beginning with M that's basically this endless library, and there's someone who works there as a scribe, and I remember just being completely in love with that place and that vibe and the characters. And there's a lot in here about alchemy and like old magic, and it's just so enthralling, and it was like the perfect, not cure, but I remember, you know, having to wait for Harry Potter books to come out, and it had a very similar magical vibe and a really lovely cast of kind of found family characters, and it just filled the hole when I was waiting for new Harry Potter books. And if you're into Harry Potter and you want a similar kind of series that's about magic and it's kind of not aimed at children, I think you can enjoy this at any age, but you know, I think this is a really good kind of similar series. And then of course we have the iconic Spiderwick Chronicles that are not in a line. There we go. Sorry, the presentation is just not up to par. So obviously we've got the titles. Oh my god, this is going to test me. They don't have the titles on the spine. So the first book, which I believe is the Field Guide, then the Seeing Stone, and then I think Lucinda's Secret, and then the Ironwood Tree and the Wrath of Morgarath. I believe. I could have completely got those wrong. And then there's the spin-off series that's kind of connected, which is Beyond the Spiderwick Chronicles, and I don't know the individual titles for these, but I remember not liking them as much, but they were still really, like, it was still really nice to get a taste of that world because I missed it so much. And I love these editions, these like very little hardbacks, and they've got really, really gorgeous covers. Let me just show you some. I remember, I think my favourite was book 4, which was the Ironwood Tree. Yeah, because it had this beautiful illustration of Mallory. I can't exactly remember why she's in like what looks like a coffin, but I remember really loving this cover and thinking it was so gorgeous, which it is. All of the illustrations in these books are just beautiful. Let's just look at them all because they're all gorgeous. Oh, imagine being talented. Can you imagine? I can't. Oh, he's so ugly, but I love him. Look at him. Oh, I want to reread this series now. Fuck it, let's do the spin-off as well. Look at this. Look at how gorgeous they are. Oh, I don't even remember their names. But I used to, like, when I was a kid, I loved drawing. And I used to just copy these illustrations for hours on end because they were just so beautiful. And there are so many in the book that are, again, just gorgeous. Oh, amazing. Beautiful. Iconic. Spectacular. we stand. And then all the way on the end here, we have a little book called The Boy with the Cuckoo Clock Heart, which I think is a French book because it's by Matthias Malzieu, and I don't remember anyone ever talking about this song. But it is this kind of, I think it's a love story. I mean, I don't know. I remember this boy, and basically he, I mean, it says it on the thing, doesn't it? He has a clock heart that's kind of automated, and people think he's weird, and he's bullied because people can hear the ticking. And I believe he falls in love with a girl, ooh, like steampunk vibes. I believe he falls in love with a girl who's in the circus or something like that. I remember really enjoying it, but obviously I read it when I was younger, so I'm not totally clear on the details of it. Oh my god, Roald Dahl. Sorry. Oh, this is such a dream video for me. I just get to talk about all the books I loved when I was a kid. It's like books plus nostalgia. It's my jam. So let's start over on the left here. We have 13 Reasons Why. Don't know why I was given that as a child. And then Stolen by Lucy Christopher. Again, don't know why I was given that. It's about a girl that gets abducted, and I think I don't know if she has romantic feelings, but she begins to feel sorry for the person who kidnapped her. So yeah, all fun vibes for children. And then this book by Justine Larbellestier, How to Ditch Your Fairy, is a very fun book about a world where everybody has a fairy that helps you with something magical. So some people have fairies that help them like get rich, or some people have fairies that help them be beautiful. And then I think the main character, I might be misremembering this because it was a long time ago, but I think the main character has a fairy that helps her get the perfect parking spot, and she thinks that's a very boring fairy, so she has this plan to try and get rid of her fairy and get a better one. It's very fun and very silly. I remember really enjoying it at the time. And then we have 3 books by Jenny Valentine, which is Broken Soup, Finding Violet Park, and The Double Life of Cassiel Road Knight. Oh my god, then this book Shift, this really freaked me out when I read it. It's about this, like, friendship. I think I'm going into way too much detail about each of the books. I should just tell you what they are and move on. But, like, this is bringing back so many memories. I remember, like, staying up so late to finish this, and it had such an explosive ending. It's about this girl who moves to a new school, and then, like, the girl starts imitating everything that the main character does and wears, and, like, starts stealing her friends and stuff. And it has a really creepy twist, and I can't remember what it is. So you're gonna have to read it. And then Distant Waves, which I believe was set on the Titanic, so that's why I read it. And then there's A Secret Diary of Adrian Mole, which is an iconic kind of coming-of-age thing. And then we have my beautiful Roald Dahl books. So we have George's Marvelous Medicine, Danny the Champion of the World, The Giraffe, the Pelly and Me, The BFG, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, The Witches, and Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator, and also Boy and Going Solo that are in a bind-up together. I love Roald Dahl. I think he's one of the most imaginative, amazing storytellers, and my childhood was so full because of him, and I'm so grateful. And then we have this series over here, Nellie the Monster Sitter, which is so much fun. It's literally about this little girl called Nellie who babysits for baby monsters. It's the cutest series, and I read 4 books of it. It's just so much fun. And then over here we have The Worst Witch, which I loved again when I was a kid. So we've got The Worst Witch Strikes Again, and then I think this is every book in the series. I'm not quite sure. I don't know how many there were. But then up at the top we got a book of Shakespeare quotation, which I'm sure was not given to me as a child. I think I just got that later on and couldn't find anywhere else on my shelf to put it. And then here we've got Wuthering Tights by Louise Renison, who is the author of the Angus Dongs The Perfect Snogging series. And I believe this was set in a theatre company, so I wanted to read it, but I'm not too clear whether or not I enjoyed it or not. I can't remember, I'm sorry. So on the 4th shelf down we have the Araminta Spook series, which is a kind of middle grade thing about I can't remember if she's a vampire or not. I think so. I think she's a vampire, and she lives in this haunted house, and it's just about like what she gets up to. So the first book is My Haunted House, then The Sword in the Grotto, Frognapped, and Vampire Brat. So I think she's a vampire. I'm not sure. And then the rest of this shelf is just Lemony Snicket, because why not? So this is Who Could That Be at This Hour, which is the first in his kind of middle grade like detective series, which I never carried on with. I remember enjoying this at the time, but I'm not sure why I didn't carry on. And then annoyingly we have the movie cover, which is a bind-up of the first 3 books in this year's Unfortunate Events series, which annoyingly does not match the rest, but you know what, we'll just roll with it. So this is The Bad Beginning, The Reptile Room, and The Wide Window all in one. And then we have the rest of the series in the beautiful hardbacks that they put out for these. I love the designs of these covers as well as Spiderwick. They're just very iconic illustrations that are just instantly recognizable, like no matter, you know, where you are. You kind of, if you see this on a shelf, you know that it's this series, and I just think that they're gorgeous. They're so beautiful. And then at the end here, we've got the unauthorized autobiography. I don't actually remember what this is, if it's like a making of the series or if it's like a spin-off. I'm actually not sure. Let me have a look. Okay, I read the back and I'm still not sure, so I'll have a look at that later. And then here we've got a book called Horseradish by Lemony Snicket, which I think is like a series of kind of quotes and stuff that he lives his life by. I remember like really laughing at this. There's quite a few funny quotes in here, and the one that I remembered was there's a quote that says, never trust anyone that doesn't carry a book with them. And I remember being like, yes, that is a very good life lesson. Oh yeah, so it's not a collection of other people's poems, it's definitely stuff that he's written. So the back says, life is a turbulent journey fraught with confusion, heartbreak and inconvenience. This book will not help. Which is very fun. I love Lemony Snicket. I think he's an incredible writer, and this series meant a lot to me when I was a kid, and still does. I still love this series, and I still watch the movie, which I love and I will defend till the end of my days. I think it's incredible. So behind A Series of Unfortunate Events, we have this shelf, which is just a mixture of everything. So we'll start again on the left. That's books 5 and 6 of the Princess Diaries, which was given to me when I was little, obviously in a different edition to the collection that I have, but I don't think I have the heart to give these away. And then we've got Wilderness, went German for a minute, Wilderness by Roald Dahl, and A Greyhound of a Girl, again by Roald Dahl. I remember enjoying those, but the details have escaped me. And then Tales of Terror from the Tunnel's Mouth by Chris Priestley. I loved these books. Me and my friends at school loved these books. They're all kind of spooky, like creepy stories with creepy illustrations. Let's see if I can... Oh, gorgeous. Look at that. I remember really loving these, and a lot of them definitely did stay with me for a while. I've forgotten them now, obviously, because my memory is awful, but these were definitely very atmospheric, and I would recommend them for people who like spooky stories, even if you're not a kid anymore, you know, just go for it. They're very fun. And then we've got a book called Granny Torelli Makes Soup, which was very fun. And then, oh, Nevermore. I love this book. It's like a kind of old creepy house story again, which is never fails to captivate me. And then of course we've got Marley and Me by John Grogan. I think this was actually like the kids version that cuts out the chapter where that girl gets stabbed. Sorry, if you haven't read the book, that's a bit of a spoiler, but basically there's a bit in the kind of grown-up version of Marley and Me where a girl gets stabbed in their driveway, and this is like a kid's version of the book, so that's the only bit that's not in the kids version. But yeah, this book broke my heart. I loved it so much though. And then we have Lawrence St. John, who I loved as a kid. So we have this series, I don't know what the name of this series is, but these 4 books, The White Giraffe, Dolphin Song, Last Leopard and the Elephant's Tail, which are just very kind of animal-centric stories. It's this girl that lives on this kind of wildlife reserve in Africa, and it's just about all of her adventures, and a lot of them are kind of looking at endangered animals, so it's a lot about conservation and about how we need to look after what's around us, and they're very beautiful stories, and I remember really loving these. And then I believe that this series, Dead Man's Cove, Kidnap in the Caribbean and Kentucky Thriller, are kind of like kids detective-y books, and these were really, really fun. And in this book, I was Jane Austen's best friend. Not really sure why I had this. I was never a big Jane Austen person or like a big kind of period drama person, but I guess I must have enjoyed it. I kept it, so it's here. And then we have Christopher Mouse, The Tale of a Small Traveller. I adored this book. It's just about a mouse, and I love that. And then we've got The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. Again, iconic children's author, like iconic stories that we all know and love. And then here we just have this book, which I guess I couldn't fit anywhere else, which is Alice in Tumblrland, which is just like a joke book about like Alice in Wonderland, but in the age of the internet, and it was quite funny. It has a lot of stupid references in it. And on top here we have 2 very different books. I don't know why they're here. The girls book, A Girl's Guide, How to Be the Best at Everything, and that has like fun little like, I don't know, like recipes and stuff in there. Can't remember what's in there, but I remember really enjoying that book when I had it. like DIY crafts and stuff. And then we've got Animal Farm, which is an allegory for communism, so that belongs here, I guess. And now we have this last shelf featuring this little chicken thing. My dad brought this back from somewhere, and you just blow into its butt and it makes a noise, so that's fun. Starting on the left, we have this book Glow, which I remember really loving. It's like a sci-fi adventure thing. And then we've got Knife and Rebel by R.J. Anderson, a really lovely kind of fae series that I remember really loving. I say lovely, I think it was kind of a bit violent, but it was really fun. And then Ultraviolet, which is about a girl that has synesthesia, I believe, which is kind of, you can taste colors and see sound and everything, which sounds kind of incredible, but anyway. Then we have I, Coriander, a book that I really love, which I think is about kind of time travel. I remember it kind of flips back and forth between modern day and old-fashioned time. That's the correct term, isn't it? Old-fashioned time. What's Left of Me by Kat Zhang. We've got Girl Missing, classic by Sophie Mackenzie. No relation, unfortunately. And then we've got What I Said and How I Lied. Again, not really sure what that's about, but I remember enjoying it. The Forbidden Sea, which I remember really enjoying as a mermaid book. And then Here Lies Bridget, about a mean high school girl called Bridget who dies, and then kind of while she's died, she sees the effect that she's had on other people in life, and then she gets a second chance to kind of right her wrongs, essentially. Looking for JJ, that was a really like classic traumatic book. We had to read this for book club at school, and it's basically about this girl who kills someone when she's 10 and then goes into witness protection. It's a lot, but it's really well done. And then we've got The Unlikely Pilgrimage of Harold Fry, which again I read for a book club. It's not the kind of thing I would normally read. And then we have two Jodi Picoult books, which I think both belong to my grandma, because she would read these kind of like, I guess, I don't know, popular books, and then she would just have them in her house, and that she would never reread them, so I think I just pinched them. And then House Rules, I remember, is about a boy with Asperger's, I believe, and he's very obsessed with kind of crime and murder mysteries, and he has a police scanner, and he keeps showing up at crime scenes, and the police start to suspect him because they think he's acting suspiciously, but in actual fact he just can't look them in the eye, essentially, because of his condition. And I remember really enjoying this and finding it really interesting. Again, My Sister's Keeper, a very famous book about a girl with cancer or leukemia, I think it is. And then Edgar Allan Poe, Tales of Mystery and Imagination. I haven't finished this yet, but I want to because I love gothic stuff. And then we've got Joe Simpson, Touching the Void, which is about him climbing a mountain and having like a crisis. I've grossly simplified that. I'm sure it's a beautiful book, but I can't exactly remember the details. And then we have some Philip Pullman. So we've got Count Carlstein, Clockwork, The Firework Maker's Daughter, and I Was a Rat. All very enjoyable classics. Count Carlstein and Clockwork especially are very good for creepy, spooky times, so I might reread those coming up to Halloween. They're beautiful, beautiful books. Right, this last shelf is going to go quite quickly because my camera is flashing at me. So starting from left to right, we've got Birdsong by William Faulks. Never read that, I'm sorry. Not a classics gal. And then we've got Talking Heads by Alan Bennett, which is an iconic series of monologues written for stage. Then we've got the iconic Gallagher Girls series, which is about a group of girls that go to a kind of spy school. It's like Spies meet Cintronians. It's wonderfully fun. I love it so much. Then we've got The Name of the Star by Maureen Johnson, which I really enjoyed at the time. I think it's set in like Jack the Ripper, London, but it's very fun. I love it. Then we've got the Ingo series by Helen Dunmore, which I loved when I was little. It's all about mermaids, as you can probably tell from the covers, and I think it's an iconic series that I kind of want to go back to now that I'm seeing it again. And then, of course, we've got the iconic Noughts and Crosses Quartet by Mallory Blackman, which took everyone by storm, and for good reason. It's really a wonderful series, and if you haven't got into it yet, I really recommend that you do. I had so much fun doing this video, if you couldn't tell. It's probably very, very long because I just gushed about all of the books. So I really hope you enjoyed it too, and please let me know in the comments what some of your childhood favourites are, because I'm really in the mood to read some middle grade, so I'd love some recommendations if you've got any. And if I'm not too busy rereading all of my childhood books, I will see you soon with another video sometime soon. Bye.